Hi, I'm Eric Kelly from KellyPlanet.com. This is a closer look at Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 14, Conundrum.
We're investigating a series of subspace signals that may indicate intelligent life in the Epsilon solar system. We are within sensor range.
I don't know where the Epsilon solar system is, but it must be really far from Earth. Data is playing some 3D chess with Counselor Troy, and how would one beat Data at a game like that? I don't know, but she schools him. So he has to make her a Sumerian sunset at the bar. Her name is Kristen, and the doc is fixing her up because she pulled a muscle or something doing some cliff diving on the holodeck. There's Ensign Ro, and we haven't seen her for quite a while. Riker's all pissed off because she does whatever she wants, because that's like her main character trait, and the point of this is to balance the sexual tension later.
We are picking up a subspace signal, Captain. Sensors indicate a small spacecraft ahead.
Configuration is unfamiliar. Nothing in our database comes close.
Within visual range. On screen.
Worf says that ship has no weapons and only one person aboard. No response to hails, and Geordi says the Enterprise is being scanned. Then Worf says the scans seem to be accessing their computers, so we get a Picard meme, and shields up. Oh, there's that Sumerian sunset thing. That's pretty cool.
I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it.
The scanning signal has penetrated our shields.
Computers are going down.
What the hell? I don't know who any of you are.
Oh no, everyone has amnesia from the beam thing, I guess. And who the flying Vulcan is that guy? Rose says it looks like I'm the pilot, but the helm is dead, so at least she knows how to work the thing. Riker and Worf recognize the tactical station too, so they have like selective amnesia. Riker notices Picard's 4 pips, so maybe he's the leader, but Worf says, well, not so fast, I have this fancy baldric. Picard says, it doesn't really matter who's in charge right now, we should focus on figuring out who we are, and where did that guy come from? Geordi says there's some debris ahead, and it looks like they blew up a ship.
Perhaps we were engaged in battle.
If they stunned us with some type of bioelectric field, that could have wiped out our memories.
Then we fired back, destroyed them.
But if that presumption is correct, then we could have sustained other damage.
I guess the computer is down, well, at least the voice interface. But remember, Geordi's computer works. Looks like life support is fine, but nav and engines and comms are down, so they can't call Starbase. Geordi hooks up a PA system, and Worf jumps in and orders each department to send a representative to the bridge. Worf assumes the captain's chair, and that guy I've never seen before says that everyone on the ship is in the same condition that they are.
We are equipped with 10 phaser banks, 250 photon torpedoes, and a high-capacity shield grid.
We're a battleship.
Yes, it appears so.
Worf says 10 phaser banks, but I count 11. There's 2 main banks on the saucer, the 2 near the saucer's impulse engines, 1 on each pylon, so that's 6. There's 2 back by the aft torpedo launcher and 2 more underneath those, plus the 1 horizontal ventral bank on the bottom of the engineering section. And there's actually a 12th tucked under the saucer forward of the battle bridge, and I noticed all this because I built this model when I was a kid. Anyway, Ro wants to go running around in the Jeffries tubes because she loves doing that, but Riker says, whoa, hold up, we need to slow down and think this out so you and I can have a bonding moment for later.
We're going to search the ship.
Very well. Proceed.
I'll go with you. I want to get my hands on the computer core, see if we can reestablish control from there.
Down in engineering, Geordi says, well, all the stuff works, the control systems are just down. Rose says we should work on weapons and shields first in case we get attacked, and Riker says okay, but after that, maybe try to look for personnel files. Picard and that guy report to Captain Worf, and there have been no casualties, and all the shuttles are accounted for. Worf says as soon as possible they are going to go to battle mode, and Picard suggests, well, maybe getting a look at the logs should be a priority, and Worf says, no way, we need to be ready to fight.
I regained control of navigation, propulsion, weapons, and communications. We should be able to tie them into the bridge in just a few minutes.
Now we are ready.
Question is, for what?
Hey look, the phasers work, and Picard is at the helm, and this is the 3rd time we see that. He says they should run some diagnostics, and Worf says no, but the guy that isn't supposed to be there changes his mind. Bev shows up to tell us that everybody still has their memories intact, but they are being blocked somehow. She needs to see their medical records, but they don't even have access to the personnel files yet, so good luck with that, Doc. Ro and Riker are doing their thing, and he says, wow, that holodeck we just saw was pretty cool. I'd like to try that out.
Now that's disappointing.
Why?
You don't strike me as a man who needs a holodeck to have a good time.
Yeah, they hook up later. So in 10 forward, Troy comes up and says, oh no, don't go with her, I'm hot too. I made that up. But she does say, hey, check out our bartender. He's an android. And oh yeah, that magic beam somehow was able to block his memories too, but that makes no sense because his systems are extremely unique. Oh yeah, again, she says, I seem to have empathic powers and you seem awfully familiar to me. Worf calls down and says, hey, get up here, we found the personnel files. So, here we go.
Commanding Officer Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Executive Officer Commander Kieran McDuff. Second Officer Commander William Riker.
Who the crap is Kieran McDuff, and why is Riker second officer? Data is operations officer, but was second in command, but now this McDuff fellow is, and he's a full commander, so okay. I'm going to call him McDoof from now on. I was going to say Bev is also a commander, but she doesn't get promoted until season 7, so I was wrong. They go through Troy and Geordi, and Worf is not happy to find out that he's just the security chief, and there's Ro, and that's it.
Your next priority will be to retrieve any information you can about this ship's mission. Contact the operations officer to assist you.
Aye, sir.
He's in 10 forward, waiting tables.
Worf apologized to Picard for sitting in his chair and assuming authority, but Picard's like, yeah man, don't worry about it. Time for a data exposition dump. They know now that they are aboard a ship called the Enterprise, and they are part of the United Federation of Planets, and they are at war with the Lycian Alliance. Who? And no, they're not.
They're a genocidal race determined to destroy us. The war has been going on for years.
Starfleet Command believes the Lycians are using a new weapon, which has shifted the balance of power to their favor.
Data says, yeah, they use this weapon thing that disrupts memory, and McDoof says, well, yeah, that's what happened to us. Now it's Geordi's turn. Their mission is to penetrate Lycian space and blow them up. Hey, that thing looks familiar. That's the same model used for the god creature that wanted the happy naked people to kill Wesley in Season 1. Troy says we should probably confirm this with Starfleet before we go killing people, and Geordi says, well, our orders specifically state we are to maintain radio silence, because, of course.
There are other vessels on other fronts, all working according to an intricate plan.
We're the linchpin to the operation. If we don't destroy the Central Command, the entire effort will fail.
He's right, Captain. Our choice is clear.
So Picard orders a course to Lycian Central Command. Riker goes to his quarters, and hey, there's Ro looking all off-duty. So they flirt for a minute, and she tells him he's not getting any sleep tonight. Worf says they have entered Lycian space, so they drop out of warp, and then Data says it will take them 37 hours to get where they're going, so maybe, go back into warp, but they don't. A Lycian destroyer is up ahead, and there it is. McDoof is like, yeah, all right, I'm ready to shoot, and Picard says, well, yeah, hold up, and that makes McDoof mad. Data says, this ship kind of sucks. They couldn't scratch our shields, and they're hailing us.
Open a channel.
No! Their new weapon. Whatever it is that erased our computers and our memories, maybe this is how they do it. Over communication channels.
It is conceivable, sir.
The Lycians stop their hail and start shooting.
Captain? Return fire.
Well, that was easy, and they just killed 50-some people, which makes McDoof pretty happy. The writers need to pad this out before we get to some more action, so Bev says she can't fix their memories without the medical records, and then Data and Geordi find out that they've been erased. Riker's in his quarters with a Horgon, and when Troy stops by, this poor guy. But Deanna isn't as aggressive as Ro, and she just says, oh, this whole situation's messed up, and he says, yeah, but look, I could play the trombone.
Ode to Psyche by John Keats.
Open it.
To will all my love, Deanna.
That may explain some of the familiar feelings we have.
Yeah, dude, you love her, and you just hooked up with Ro. Speak of the devil, Troy says, oh, I was just leaving, and Ro's like, it's a good thing she left, because we need to go for round 2. Bev says she can try to recover their memories without the medical records, but it would be dangerous, and Commander McDoof volunteers. He's having a seizure or something, and she fixes him up, but they probably shouldn't try that again. Picard and McDoof are in the ready room, and the captain says that this whole thing is pretty messed up, and these Lycians are no match for us.
I feel as though I've been handed a weapon, sent into a room, and told to shoot a stranger. Well, I need some moral context to justify that action.
McDoof says, yeah, but is it right to risk prolonging the war? We need to kill Lycians before they kill us, so what to do? Worf gets called in to see the commander, and he's like, you seem like a pretty violent guy. He doesn't come right out and say this, but the gist is if the captain decides not to kill a bunch of people, can I count on you to back me up? And I'm pretty sure Worf understands what he's all about. Now they're in the Lycian system, and so to 1/4 impulse, and I'll say again, they could have been there almost 2 days ago. Data says there are unmanned sentry pods guarding the command center thing, but they aren't well armed, so Worf locks phasers, and Picard orders full impulse now, for some reason.
Take it straight through.
We are through the perimeter, sir.
That was too easy, and they say the same. That shot looks pretty cool. You gotta love the remastered effects. Data says there are no vessels in the area, no more pod things, and that central command place is pretty much defenseless.
One photon torpedo ought to do it.
Data, how many people on that station?
15,311. We're within range, Captain.
Stand by.
McDoof is all giddy and says, hey, let's blow him up. And Troy says, this is not right. Riker says, yeah, this makes no sense. But Commander Warmonger says we must attack. And Picard says, well, how about no? I do not fire on defenseless people. So McDoof freaks out and orders Worf to fire, but Worf stands his ground, which gets him beat up because that's how they show a character is strong. Riker shoots and, what's this? He's not human. So they shoot him some more and that does the trick.
We are on a course to Starbase 301. Dr. Crusher has been working steadily and has restored the memories of most of the crew.
Turns out McDoof was a Sutteran in disguise, and his people have been at war with the Lysians for decades. Picard sincerely apologized to the Lysians for blowing up their ship and killing their crew, but I'm sure they were like, well, thank you for not blowing up our home base because we couldn't have stopped you. Now that the crew has their memories back, it's time for Riker to deal with the little love triangle he has going on. Looks like the ladies had been comparing notes. Please have a seat, bud. Riker's like, oh, well, this is great. I was meaning to talk to both of you.
When you have no memory, you find yourself
The
in a
counselor
very...
tells me that at times like that, we might do the things that we've always wanted to do.
She said that?
Rose says, don't worry about it. We have shared something we will treasure forever. I've got to go.
I'm a little confused.
Well, if you're still confused tomorrow, you know where my office is.
I think that last scene is pretty great. I'm sure that's not the first time Riker's found himself in a situation like that. This was a bottle show that only used a few sets, and apparently this is one of those scripts that got rewritten a whole bunch of times. I really like this episode and look forward to doing this video, but honestly, it's really not that good. The whole Commander McDuff thing makes no sense. I remember the first time I saw this, when McDuff just kind of appeared out of nowhere, I was like, who the heck is that guy? On paper, this might have seemed like a good idea. After all, the crew had amnesia, but the people watching the show don't. Any fan would have immediately known he was a red flag. Most of the producers, including Piller and Berman, were kind of disappointed on how this one turned out, but for some reason, I just like it a lot, so I'm going to do 3 deltas out of 5. You can let me know how you feel about that. If you liked that video, thank you. Like and subscribe and make a comment if you want to. There's more Star Trek videos and related content on my website. Check it out at kellyplanet.com. I'm Eric Kelly. Live long and prosper.